Chemda, I'm from the future. I'm going to tell you what we're about to talk about. I got a feeling. Okay. Rod, Morrow, and Newsy are the guests. We talked to them about anti-vaxx violence and the related fines. Not even a slap on the wrist. In fact, I'd say a pat on the back. Hellraiser 11. I saw all 10 movies of Hellraiser. They say it's pleasure and pain from Pinhead. I don't know what the pleasure part is. Maybe movie 11 will explain it. We'll see. Self-proclaimed archenemy Keith McNally is back. Let's get into that. And then Keith and the Girl Associates we lost along the way. And of course, we have to discuss Dave Chappelle's Netflix special, The Closer.
Nobody held back. Here we go.
Are you from the future too? Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith McNally.
I'm Chemda.
Next week is Columbus week, of course. Keith and the Girl will be off. We every time, this time of the year, we tear down some statues and it takes a little bit. But there will be new Diamond Dogs, new daddy issues. My siblings are visiting the house this weekend. We'll get the scoop on everything. And that's it. Tomorrow, YouTube, you can see us there on Saturday, always putting out new stuff. Click that bell, baby. Smash those likes. Fuck those hearts. Come on that share button. It's a good time. Your VIP package includes every show Keith and the Girl has ever made since 2005. Get your free Silent Trailers ticket. Spinoffs that are available still there. My Name is Keith. There's so much. What's My Name? Classics like That's the Show with Danny. Newsy CHU does CHU A, goes back in time of a specific date and sees how we evolved. Rod Morrow and his wonderful wife, Karen, host last week on Keith and the Girl. I love VIP. I'm proud of it. Make sure you check it out. Now, I see on the forums, we have a section called KATG Awards. That's where you nominate the craziest moments that you hear on Keith and the Girl. That's where you nominate the funniest moments that you hear. And that's always fun to see. Here's Shoe Booty saying, last week on Keith and the Girl, episode 165, 58 minutes in, I loved Karen talking about the love she sees in Rod's eyes. Aw, how sweet. Here's one from Pink Superhero. Funniest moment, Keith reviews the Squid Game. So it's all over the spectrum, what you could be voting for. And that's important and fantastic. If you want to contribute to the best, most touching, ridiculous moments, et cetera, of the year, go to keithandthegirl.com/forums. You'll see it. All right. Today's guests. Well, we just yapped about them, right? From the black guy who tips, you want to download this podcast, Rod Morrow. How you doing, Rod?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. And from your garage door, mailbox, street corner, it's graffiti champion, Jerome, Newsy CHU. Charles, how you doing, Jerome?
I thought you were going to say from your dad's sex dungeon, but yeah, those places do.
Did anyone else cringe when Keith said Columbus Week? We're calling it different things now, right?
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yes. So
but people need to know why we're tearing down statues.
Right.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah, it's
not every statue; it's the Columbus statues.
Right, and that's the way I recognize it. I saw in New York a group of people, anti-vaxxers, walk past one of those vaccination sites, those pop-up tents they put outside just to give you shade on the just came by, up through everything, through the table like Christ Jesus. Took that, started throwing that tent thing around, giant poles, being thrown everywhere. Cops calmly walk over. They stopped the ones that were, weren't smart enough to at least walk away. Gave them $50 fines. They don't need fines. They're looking for hugs. This is what people mean by defund the police. They want to have less police on the street and more huggers. Newsy brought up a great point when we saw all those people at the insurrection with flak jackets, tighten that tight vest around the they're just looking for hugs.
My God, you don't see the weird thing is you don't see people who are pro-vax going around and flipping tables. Right. You don't see any kind of the same level of aggression. If anything, you'll hear passion in their voices, and we all know what passion sounds like. It sounds like I care too much, and that's it.
But they only got a $50 fine.
Yeah.
Isn't that assault?
It's scary. It's a scary thing to see. They're like,
where's the question? What about the children? It sounds weird to say that, but that's what I thought. Were there any children in the way that couldn't step out of the way of giant poles that grown adults are throwing into the wind? Holy.
Well, you see a lot of these things where people, a white supremacist group, they go to, pepper spray somebody and it blows in somebody else's eyes. That's kind of like what was happening with this tent. It was like almost the 4 giant poles. They're just throwing this tent about, and it's like knocking into other anti-vaxxers.
Plus the police are like half anti-vax. So like they probably were sitting there like, let's let them finish and then we'll just give them these fines. And I think it's not a gang of anti-vax people. I think we call them a super spreader event.
Okay.
Whenever they get together.
You get a bigger fine for not understanding a traffic sign. Park here, don't park here, 5 to 10, 6 to 2, 3 to 7, here's your change. That's all on one sign. And you're paying over $100 easily.
Oh yeah, I've paid $125 because midnight, of course, means the next day, or I didn't see the sign because the sign started in a different place and it was confusing, and also because I'm an asshole. I mean, most of it.
Why weren't the cops scared though? They've shot 12-year-old boys like playing in the park alone by themselves with a fake gun. Why weren't they threatened by these adults going around doing this kind of stuff? Not even as Rod loves, a taser. Not even a taser.
Yeah,
these people
not
just
even a taser.
Calm, just hey guys, knock it off.
Well, Rod took our game over, but let's play it again right now since he's here. Guess the race.
Oh man.
Guess the difference.
Let me see. The people who are legitimate fans of Guns N' Roses.
This seasoning is too hot on my food.
Yeah, what'd you put on this steak? Pepper, Johnny. Oh my. You really placed it on. It's these dorks. Of course it is. Yeah, and to just scream like, I hate. And you want to be like, what? What? What do you hate? What? I hate. That's not enough. Fake virus made in a lab. Never happened. What?
My favorite thing about those type of folks is they don't all have the same conspiracy theories. So I do wonder if like someone's flipping a table over and they're like, because it's a hoax, it's not even real. And the other person's like, no, it's a Chinese biological weapon made in a lab. And some other guys flipping it over like, no, it's just Joe Biden and them trying to control our brains with 5G microchips.
That's why they're being so chaotic. They actually don't care if it lands on that other one. They might be aiming for him.
You just gotta let them kill him.
I disagree. I think it's from a lab. Grab that end of the table. Yeah. You're totally wrong. What'd you say, Newsy?
You got to let them kill themselves off. Like, actually, if you see that happening, start shouting conspiracy theories to throw, to start riling up the teams within, and then they start fighting. And of course, they have COVID and they die off anyways. It's fine.
Right. It's fucking not $50 fine. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's not. It's a testing site. It's not a fact. There's not a virus in the air, no matter how you decide you want to deal with it, whether kids should wear masks or not. It's a testing site, you fucking asshole. Speaking of assholes, on our spinoff show, CHU A.
Oh. What a great intro, right? You feel good? Okay, ready?
I'm on your side, Newsy.
He said words. It is a spinoff show. No superlatives yet.
Newsy brought up a DM that he got that I want to reference on this show for a second. A DM from Keith McNally.
Yes.
And as a listener, Rod, how would you describe, so that I don't add any flowery words to it, how would you describe Keith McNally and his role in Keith and the Girl and in our lives?
I would describe him as an entitled Canadian asshole.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well, there you have it.
Okay.
We did not plan that.
Okay. I thought Rod was going to be more gentle, to be honest. So, wow. Okay, because I forgot. And I was just like, oh, he's emailing. All right. It's very neither here nor there sort of vibe. And Keith was like, how about this? How about that? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot.
The thing is, I don't have any of the attachment because I don't have any. He never did anything for me. Right. So like any thing on your part where he's built up some capital for him to like disappoint you or hurt you or let you down, that part I have none of, but I do have parts of him fucking up the show I love and yelling at Keith that he doesn't know what it's like and being the only
poor.
hardest. He had the hardest upbringing ever in Canada and all this shit compared to anyone else in the world. No one else could possibly have problems that even come close to something that could relate to him. So
that was on a What's My Name episode, and then I said,
"My name is Keith."
My name is Keith episode, excuse me. And then I said, okay. How much money did your mom give you this week? $1,000, he said. Okay.
You don't know what it's like, Keith.
I don't.
Tell your mom to give you $1,000. You don't know.
I had a lot of empathy for that episode for Keith McNally because he was drunk, and it was like his perspective that it's harder than people think, right? And he's just in his biggest emotions, which really might have just manifested in this blubbering mess, right? And then it just devolved from there. But in that episode, I guess I have this feeling of like, hey, we don't want to be videotaped in our incredible drunken stupor at that moment. Even though I do believe that there is some kind of truth serum aspect to booze, it's still an exaggerated, let people leave that in their closet because that's a little safer sort of vibe. But I don't know. Then, the forums reminded me that he never liked me to begin with. So why am I?
Okay, thank God, forums. Because I was really about to just be like, okay, that was nice. But he don't like your ass. So what the fuck is that?
He always hated me, always.
For no reason.
Here's the thing. I'll even give like an exclusivo on this show. McNally was a roommate of mine. He was like part of the reason why I moved to New York. Him and this other guy were like, hey, we have this space. We have an extra room. If you want it, go for it. So Chemda used to come over and hang out with the other roommate, Relic. And they would just like make fucking food, and they were having fun in the kitchen. And like McNally would like come out of his room miserable, go to the bathroom miserable, and then like go back to his room miserable because there were like fun sounds down the hall. You know, like that's
But she of course is invited to. But yeah. Happiness upset him.
And take that from Newsy, who hates fun.
Yeah, I was like, Newsy, you were late, right?
I think I just needed to get a little bit older, and I'm like, no, I don't. This giggling sounds, it needs to stop.
Right, but this guy was in our homes. This guy was on the show many times.
Well, also like even if not what his mom was giving him, which like even as a roommate, I didn't even know that shit until later. Like he was still supported through the show. Fans sent him things, people like the audience was there no matter what for this guy, period.
Right.
Like, he had a support system.
So he DM'd you because he heard, hey, sometimes on CHU A, this is what I heard. I came across this in the newspaper. He acts like they go back and listen to old shows. And when I come up, it seems like there's bad blood. What? Can you read that DM, Newsy?
Yeah. Whoa, look at that. There's an old DM from 2012. Little did I know I was hurtling toward my own destruction. Haha. Every couple of years.
Is that? I'm sorry. What does that mean in the beginning? There's an old DM from 2012. He's just saying he came across DMs when you guys were talking.
I have to imagine like because Twitter, like, I don't know. Maybe I DM'd him in 2012 and it just like fell flat. He didn't check it until now.
Yeah,
that's all I can remember.
Here's what I think. He wants to say something. He's like, how do I start this? But innocuously. Oh, look, we talked once. Anyways, it's now 2021.
Right.
I think it more sounds like, it's like Newsy was saying, if he went to go DM you and then realized he didn't answer your last DM. So it's like, oh shit, I didn't realize that, but I'm still going to DM you.
Okay. Yeah, that seems appropriate. Right. Yeah. Every couple of years or so, I stop by the forums to see what's going on in KATG land. I'm glad everything is going so well. I see that you're doing a retrospective series about the old days. I also saw something about how I wanted to be Keith's arch nemesis. I don't really know.
Sorry, 1 second. This is my dad and the dad email. This, you could tell this upsets me. This is my dad being like, I think, did I hear you and Chemda say something about, exactly what we said something about.
I also saw something about how I wanted to be Keith's arch nemesis. I don't really know what that's about. Maybe it was something I said as a bad joke and forgot about. But for years now, when somebody asks about KATG, I try to compliment them and just say I didn't fit in.
I'm sure.
I'll leave it up to you if you want to bring this up or not. I just wanted to let somebody know that there's no ill will on my end.
No?
I had a lot of good times in the big bad NYC, and I'm sorry for the things I'm meant to be sorry for.
Nothing. My dad says he's trying to be funny. Yeah.
All right. Talk to you later, dude. So that was
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all right, cool. Sounds like water under the bridge. So let's move on, right? What's the next topic, Keith?
Now we're pals. Lil P writes on the forums, "Oh, McNally, trying to change the narrative. Keith was in the hospital when McNally wrote the email about being his arch nemesis and trying to forget that there was a My Name is Keith episode where he really showed his true colors. Things fell apart after that. There were several times he made Chemda cry for being, quote, too cheery. He admitted to that. Sounds like he's bored and trying to stir shit up." Blue Nova says, "Agreed that people are trying to change the narrative. I hope I'm remembering right, but didn't McNally admit he was hurting Chemda on purpose? Yes. Didn't like that she was happy in a shitty world. I think Chemda realized after a while that he was just hating on her all the time, and she stopped putting energy into him. Then he changed his behavior because he was no longer being allowed to treat her poorly. He's aware now, too. McNally's using Newsy to gaslight Keith and Chemda for him." That's true, too. That's always a move. It's a move, whoever you're. Yeah, sorry. You're being used. He would rate us and be like, "Oh, maybe there was some confusion. Hope you're doing well." Why is he's rating you? That's a move.
And him does not
you
even
haven't been talking to him.
And him does not even that happy. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Him to be like, I cry for no reason every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You know, I forgot I got my period again. I just wanted to like kill everybody and shit.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
She's getting hers just fine. Don't worry.
Oh no.
He's
Damn.
aware now too. McNally's using Newsy to gaslight Keith and Chemda for him by expressing how McNally has no idea that they might be pleased with him and treating them having what the fuck? By expressing how McNally has no idea why they might not be pleased with him and treating them having any displeasure with him is ridiculous because it was clearly nothing to him. Does that make sense? McNally is not confused because he's not asking questions, right? Or trying to understand everything or anything. He's presenting this version of reality to make people doubt themselves and expecting people to just let it go so they return to a relationship he wants without him having to be responsible for his behavior. Being raised by someone who constantly pushed a different version of reality is probably why Keith is really good at avoiding his social traps. Yeah, my dad already ruined it for all of you.
No tricks in this fucking podcast space.
No tricks. No tricks. I go to see David Copperfield. I go, the bird's in his arm.
Here's
Turn
Keith's
this man.
mantra. I believe this is Keith's mantra in life in general. I have enough friends.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Similar to no, different from his dad. Slightly different from his dad, who says I have no friends. Keith is evolved. He says I have enough friends.
Right.
That's it.
Just it really is the gaslighting. That's so.
It's like, okay, so gosh, I'm always trying to like imagine this different version of myself. What would have happened if this version of me got this DM and was just like, buddy, you know what you did. Like why are you trying to play dumb instead of me who's like trying to be the filter and just be like, oh yeah, I'll pass this on. Like, you know, like this is what I've been up to and blah, blah, blah. Like, I guess, I don't know, peacemaker, bullshit, coward, whatever. I don't know. But like, why
were you tricked for a second? Were you tricked for a second?
Yes, I'm always, I did. Okay. So I always remember My Name is Keith. In fact, I've never listened to that episode because once again, he was my roommate. So I had this attachment to him that I'm like, fuck, I can't see this dude at his lowest. Like, I know I've heard clips on the show and the clips are good enough for me. I didn't listen to Danny's show when, you know, he was wilding out because like Chemda said, I was just like, damn, these dudes, like, I know what this show is. And like, I know in the light of day, they're probably going to be like, oh, fuck, I said a lot of shit I didn't want to say. If it's true or not, I don't know, but I just didn't listen. So, but I could have said like, hey man, it's probably the fact that, you know, you became this thing. You said that you wanted to be Keith's enemy. I forgot about the being mean to Chemda and hating her being happy, but like, that's legit. That's in stone. So like,
I don't know. You probably saved yourself a lot of time because it's not like you would have said that and then he would be like, fuck, I forgot. I was a dick. You're right, Newsy. Have a good day. Don't even tell Keith and him that I hit you up. He would have just been, now it would just, whatever's about to happen with Keith and him with this, because it's probably going to be a back and forth. It would have been you first. And then now it's going to, so you just kind of just facilitating. You're passing the ball and going, hey, do y'all want to do this?
I'm just an airbender, you know, it comes in this way and I'm like, exactly. Here you go. Take it on over this way.
I see. So you're telling me, Newsy, that I tried to make him to cry. It took Keith a long time to recognize that because that's insane. I said I'm going to be his archenemy because I don't think I can be as close to him as Craig or Adam or even Newsy. You're telling me I emailed any listener emails that I had, which isn't crazy. I had them because I was on the show and met people, and told them that Keith and Chemda are a piece of shit. That must have been a bad afternoon. Anyways.
He'd been away from his Kryptonian sun for too long, and he had to go back and recharge. You know, like he was drained of the Canadian sun, and like it was making him a little loopy. I don't know. It happens.
It's the playing dumb part. First of all, honestly, after all that shit, I'm not saying I'd have him in my house anytime soon, but McNally could just say, I don't know, I was a fucking baby. Hopefully there's another sentence that gives you half an answer. I'll be like, okay, who cares? I honestly don't think about you. This DM is funny to get. But that's it. Why do you have to go and push it? And why do you think everybody thinks they're so fucking smart? Speaking of Danny Hatch, behind the scenes, this is what Newsy was alluding to, put up a show under, he's like, okay, I'm done with Keith and the girl. I got to move on. You know, supposedly he's going to DC because he thinks he has to be with Rose's girlfriend because Trump's going to cause the end of the world. Okay, start realizing we don't know when we're going to die. That's fine. Then he shoves, without us knowing, a show. It's still up. Listen to it. It's crazy that they tell on themselves, but a show where he starts bad mouthing us. Then time goes by. You know, he keeps shitting on us every so often. Then all of a sudden, him or Rosa will rate on some kind of innocuous comment on social media. Yeah, Chemda, I like the beats better than the Ocean 2. Like, what? Who are these people? Land.
As you were sort of like listing this off, whatever, to me it felt like disgruntled employees who left, and on their way out they like talking all this shit. But it's just like, damn, where was this energy like the whole time? Like, I didn't know it was that bad for you.
It's giving me
And then how's it okay after? I was gonna say, Rod, I was gonna say Lotta Land is another example. He did that great artwork for us. And you know, you might recognize his name if you've been listening for a while. His girlfriend was, I think, a little irrationally in love with Pat Dixon. I think sincerely. Not that they were together, but I think sincerely. And so we said, we know female specific names and the situation of him being I hate to say the word inappropriate because it sounds like nothing, beyond sexually inappropriate. And Lotta Land's like, why would you make that up about him? He's a good person. Fuck Keith and the girl. Like, why would we though? Why would we make it up? So, you know, I'm in New York City. Maybe I'll run into this guy. Why would I want that? You know?
Right.
So he shits on me, and I'm like, okay, I guess you got to be on your girlfriend's side. It's the only way to keep her wet. I don't know. Then all of a sudden on social media, Lotta Land's like, yeah, I like that movie too. Keith was right. Oh, hi.
Did they break up? Did they break up? Is that his way of letting you know?
But maybe it's only that would make sense. I guess it's the only thing that would make sense. But why do you think you can trick me? Hey, still going good. I see, Keith. What?
I think at this point, all we're waiting for is like a cookie, like a edible arrangements from each paste or something, you know? Like,
yeah.
Patrice is gonna show back up like, hey, I'm at the studio. When are we recording?
Yeah.
Now that's hilarious, man. It feels a little bit like when you go to pick up your check after you get fired from your job. And by then it's like, it's all cool, right? Like, I mean, it's 2 weeks later. I'm turning in my McDonald's shirt. You giving me my check. I was an asshole. You were an asshole, right? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. How's the weather over there? What?
Been busy lately?
Yeah. But he said he's sorry for what he is to be sorry for. Like that's my
and then added haha. Right. That's the joke that dad made me say to my dad. That's fucking hilarious.
He knew Newsy would tell you
on the way out.
Yeah.
He knew Newsy would tell you, which is why it's worded that way.
Yeah,
of course. What does he have to be sorry for to Newsy?
And these people they're so dumb that I'm gonna like, how clever are you that I'm gonna read this and go, I guess nothing really did happen, and the audience is gonna go, yeah, Keith does overreact, and Chemda's just along for the ride, so that's probably how this hate happened. Like, you really think you could just confuse everybody? They put up with you because it's easier. It's easier not to tell you, the people you work with, people you know. They put up with you and they don't say anything because it's easier. But you're not really tricking them. I hope you know that now.
Well, let me just say for myself, I forgive them. So
okay, that's fair. You may.
We're good. We're good.
No, I'm not saying we're not good. Look, I do it too. Fuck you. Confused? Oh, I don't need a letter personally to me. We're good. We're great. I'm going to fucking be better. And with all this said, all this weirdness, like, why do you guys do this? Please keep doing it. I love it.
I don't
want to live in a world where my dad. I don't want to live in a world where my dad hits on my ex-wife. But just between us, folks, I'm glad he did.
This is where I can't go as far as you can. I don't love it. I never love it.
Because I don't put it into the universe where it makes it happen. It happened. And can I tell you a secret? I love it. Because it's your true colors and good. You played yourself. I love it.
I see. Okay.
I'm with that.
Okay.
I do love a reveal. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, oh, okay. So this is what it really was. Oh, I have been wondering, but thank you for filling up the mysteries of the universe with some answers. And now I don't have to be like, am I tripping? Does he not like Chemda? And I'm just, this is in my head. Or you're like, oh, no, you don't. Oh, okay, cool. Appreciate you, bro.
You guys also show better self-restraint than me, because I had tabs open. I'd have lists of IP numbers of just in case. I'm just like, well, I think you live in this area, so I'm just gonna keep tabs on who's fucking downloading this shit. And I would have like red line charts on the wall with people and stuff. But you're just like, oh, this guy, huh? Wasn't even thinking about it. But rejected. Thanks. Try again.
It seems that you heard it. You heard the show. Yeah. I was coming to opening up the paper. Oh, well.
He does have some funny cartoons, though.
He had very funny cartoons. He made 100 cartoons. He's like, I'm going to make one every day. Everyone ended with this guy's dick was fucking something. He's like, that's a volcano. Hope it doesn't erupt. And then he's fucking a goat for no reason. It's very funny. You never saw it coming, but it was always dicking something. And it's a shame this is where we're at now.
It's a real shame.
You mean like in evolution? Like, you just described, right?
Caveman.
Talk about confusing. Yes, hilarious.
Where I'm an airplane. Where am I flying to? Uh-oh. Dick in my tailpipe. And you're like, oh, you're on number 72. Okay.
I would like to just kind of think that I know how it feels when you quote me. What is it called? Not subquote, but
sure.
Paraphrase. Yeah, maybe it's like a different paraphrase of the actual original phrasing.
Of his comic? No.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
All right.
No. I'm fucking dead on. Number one, the guy's fucking dirt. Please. I didn't paraphrase it wrong. Speaking of movies, I see on Reddit, Bren Crow posted that there's gonna be a new Hellraiser movie. A woman's going to be Hellraiser. Look at that. Hellraiser was more involved than 007. But anyway, it'll be the 11th Hellraiser movie. And let's see. He rates, place your bets on the Keith McNally review. And people are guessing he'll love it. People are guessing he'll hate it. I'll tell you right now about this, this new Hellraiser movie.
First?
Sure. Well, I love it or hate it.
Will an average person love or hate Hellraiser number 11, specifically this person who we don't think has enjoyed the Hellraiser series for quite some time.
Ever.
Ever. Even better. But yeah, number 11. He couldn't get over it. It's his new sixth sense.
Chemda's acting like we forced her to guess, though. Oh, wait, can I guess first? Okay. I don't know.
As a person who has no intention of watching this movie, I support it. And I say I look forward to the creativity of women. The Hellraiser before didn't know how to think outside the wish box. I think that the female Hellraiser is going to do amazing things.
And I actually double that support because she's a trans actress, and as an ally to the community, I think this will be the best one and maybe the only one I will watch.
What are you stacking points because you just watched Chappelle and now you're like, but here's where I am? What the fuck?
Yeah, listen, I want to be the alternative to Dave Chappelle. Okay, so he's making a lot of money to be bigoted. I like to make a lot of money to be not bigoted. Can we figure that out?
All right, I'll tell you regarding this movie, Hellraiser. I will hate it, and I will see it on day one, in that order.
Oh, so it is anything like it's like a movie. It's just a regular movie.
So it's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's every movie.
It's not coming to theaters, is it?
You almost don't see how, right?
What the fuck? In this world where streaming is a thing, they're bringing number 11 of anything. And Ocean started at 11.
Right.
Like, let's get that curse number out of the way, right?
By the way, I just saw all the Ocean's movies.
Oh, sorry.
This was so goofy.
It was so goofy.
Beyond goofy. Do people just like watching these characters' faces move? Because that's what I got out of it. I'm like, you know what? They really are pretty. And
they're not even characters. They're just the actors being themselves. It's like, what if Brad Pitt was really friends with George Clooney and then like Don Cheadle just showed up just to kick it with him? Oh, that's what the fun of it is. It's no, who gives a fuck about the plot? The plot's always the same.
It's a cocktail party, yeah.
We're gonna steal this shit. No, I'm not gonna let you steal this shit. Guess what? They stole the shit.
Yeah, and you sit there going like, I bet they would talk like that. Yeah, I bet that would be their conversation.
And then it's got Keith's favorite trope where, you know, they just pan out a scene and they were like, well, this thing was here the whole time. You just didn't see it. And like, you know, to try and like wrap up the plot.
Yeah.
And then girls were doing it. What? You know what was, but it was funny that Julia Roberts was like, not Julia Roberts. That was funny. And at the end, it was at the end of that movie. No, it was at the end of a different movie. During the credits, they were doing weird, like, oh, this is us as like outtakes or whatever. And she's driving with another character. And they're like, oh, this is Rodeo Drive. You know, I don't know if you've ever been here. And she goes, I shopped here once. Big mistake.
And she got $1 million for that. She's like, that and my laugh, you have to pay for it. They're like, it's worth it. It's worth it.
It's just pretend. I love it. That's like my favorite version of Heist movie. Because then at the end, it's always the same, like, oh no, the heist didn't work. We got caught. That was part of the heist. We meant to get caught, you dumbass.
Did you notice this at the end of the woman version, Ocean's 8? Because it's, you know, 3/4 of what guys get. The dude saved the day. Did you notice that?
You know what I noticed?
Is that a kick in the lips?
Yeah. The whole time I was like, wait, why are we talking to this dude? I thought we were covered. There was a lot of dude moments where it's like, wait, who's the expert here? I don't understand. Are they doing it or not? They kind of, they kept having men sort of being the expert in the moment.
It takes less women to do a heist. Number one, because they're more efficient and they get twice as much done faster. And then also they're not afraid to take advice, which is why they were able to, they were just like, you know who would know about this? That dude from the other movie. How do we do this? He's like, do this. And they're like, cool. It just kept Ocean's 11, 12, 13 just kept adding more men because men don't ask directions and stuff like that.
Right.
Boy, as progressive as kicking the lips is, I still feel like I'd get in trouble with HR for saying it. You know, like I'm just like, look, I'm trying to include you in this too, but your lips. Think about it. Think about it.
No, you say things now because you never know.
Why doesn't the Asian dude get his own spinoff that's just Ocean's 1? Because this is like the third movie.
Yeah,
this is like his third movie being the one that steals the shit.
I'm doing the work, motherfucker. Yeah, we split this with the guy that did a remote control car with a bomb. Who cares? That leads us, I think, to the Dave Chappelle special. It's called The Closer. It's the final in this Netflix series of specials.
He said he's not going to do one for another minute. So let's not. Okay. And I know that he mentioned throughout the thing that it's his final special, but he was very clear in the beginning.
Sure.
Final special for a minute.
Right. Well, this was his, it's called The Closer, I think, as opposed to this is my final joke. It's him saying, this is the final comments about transgenderism because you keep dragging me through it, but I can't I can't, keep defending myself forever. That this whole hour and 10 minutes was about the transgender community. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. He acted like it was about that and women, cis women. But it wasn't.
I thought it was a little bit feminist, a little bit about feminism.
He can fuck off.
A little. He can still fuck off.
You're making me hate him more. No.
Go ahead. I'm just saying, I heard some of his stuff. Some of the material was about feminism. It's fine if that, I'm sure that coincided and filtered into the trans thing because of the trans woman specifically that he talked about, and the fact that we're talking about gender in general.
Well, he needed to lay the ground root for feminism, because when it got around to the turf stuff, he was just like, oh, well, feminist, I know I'm that, and this and stuff that I believe. So like, it was just all like planting seeds to get to that the ultimate shittiest fucking mic drop. Not the final one that he did, but just the last one of like, digging my heels in. I don't care about what you think. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when he puts this out, and I think it's anti-transgender. When he puts this out, does he think this is the one they'll finally get it? And then the reviews come out and he's like, motherfucker, this was the one that was going to finally shut you up. And it didn't, because can nobody tell him no? Did you guys think the same thing I was thinking? I guess it sounds like we're in agreement, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck was this?
I don't think anybody can tell him no. And I think that's kind of what the point was. It's like a lot of the cancel culture guys that are like, I'm the highest paid comedian in comedy on the biggest platform ever. And you keep making me the victim, the real. I wish I would lived in a world where I was free to say whatever I wanted to. And so I'm going to do that for an hour and 10 minutes. And so, yeah, I do think nobody can tell them no. But the problem for me was that it was the same jokes too. Like it wasn't
the same jokes.
Yeah. If you watched all the specials, it wasn't like, oh, these are the cleanest, like most clear thoughts. This is the new perspective I didn't have a year ago, and now I'm going to shut you up. It was like, no, this is the same exact shit I was saying before, but now I'm just doubling down and only talking about this one topic.
Oh, well, because I could still say things like, they look funny, because if you look funny, I'm going to laugh at it. And then I'm also going to say that I accept you as you are. The people who I make fun of are the people who I love. And I've always been on this side here. Okay. So I was cringing, and I'm trying not to, because I don't want to have that response. I don't want to be on some platform going like, let's break down these jokes. Funny is funny. I think trans humor could be very funny. Anti-feminist shit that you could say, it's how you say it, but it felt a little like poop jokes, on that level, and then a deep thought about it. And the other thing I think is, this is a very, very progressive special for the people in the before us progression. So this is a progressed mind that actually does love everybody and is trying to joke across platforms and is not 100% getting it. And that's why the people in the audience get it just a little bit less, because where was he, in Michigan? And I think as people get the information, this becomes woke. But we know people who are way more progressed, and that's why these jokes are not funny. They are funny when we have a slightly different skewed perspective of what we're really talking about. So the fact that you made one transgender friend and she would have laughed at this, and I completely get it, because Xerxes and I joke around about each other's ethnicities, where we come from, whatever it is, foreign stuff, all of the things. And I get why it's funny, but because we get why it's funny, I don't think that you're 100% in the know of what you're really talking about here.
He did. First off, he talked about how he misses this era of LGBTQ person, right? The Stonewall gay and stuff. I think that Keith and the Girl has helped me sort of see with past guests like fucking Frank Liotti. Sometimes even Mayron, of just this whole like digging your heels in, of just like, no, we were tough and we toughed it out. I was just like, okay, but that was your guys' experience, and we live in a world now where we're trying to hope that you don't have to tough it out. So for him to just say that, like, well, my old school friend, is totally cool with this, it's the equivalent of somebody being like, "What? I got a black friend. He doesn't mind when I tell black jokes or say the N-word. Like, and he knows that I'm cool with him. So like, what's the big deal?"
I
And
can't
all
picture.
the-
I can't picture him following the story of Stonewall. I think somebody told him that. I'll tell you why I think this. He's 48 years old. I think somebody told him about Stonewall and saying this new generation is a bunch of pussies. He goes, I like that. I'm going to grab onto that and say it. And I say that because he's 48 and mentioned in his special, he finally looked up the word feminism and it blew his mind that meant two people are equal. Well, this is your fourth fucking special about the transgender community. Read that it's not a noun.
Yeah. I think also the people shouting at him now that are LGBTQ, that is the Stonewall energy. So it's very weird to be like, back then they would just tell you off and it's like, well, that's what they're doing. They're telling you off. They're telling you how it makes them feel. And they're saying, fuck you. And you take it personal. Like you had 4 specials you had already signed up for, right? You don't have to talk about this shit. You're the one that keeps going back, right? Like, you could be like, okay, I made trans jokes the first special, it didn't go over well. I made them the second special, didn't go over well. I made them the third special, it didn't go. But this fucking 4th special, like, dude, you said you don't give a fuck. This is Kevin Hart's like no more F's to give, and the whole stand-up's about how his feelings are hurt. You do care. Just admit that you fucking care. And
everybody cares.
And even the fans of the special, is weird watching them online because they're not saying I enjoyed it. They're saying I have to defend it, which is a weird thing to do with comedy. Like if you walk out of you listen to someone's stand-up album, you watch someone's show, you don't go, I can't wait to fucking get on here and argue about it. No, you go, oh man, that was so good. That was so funny. It made me feel like I had fun, not like I want to go own some people on the other side of this thing.
And maybe you can't be, and it's exhausting. And maybe you can't be taught about. I bet you there's something Bobby Flay can't make, and he let it go.
Right.
Let it go.
It's now Bobby Flay's 4th season trying to make creme brulee. Like, no, I'm gonna get it right, y'all. Actually, it's even worse. Cake. It's him burning the creme brulee and then being like, "This is good. This is good creme brulee."
Eat it. There was times, because it got progressively worse as the special went on, and I'm watching and I'm like, okay, cool. And he keeps saying, look, it's gonna get worse. And I'm just like, I don't know, I believe in you. You're doing okay so far. And like, he'll even bring up points that are sort of relevant to me as a black gay man. Although every time he started talking about the experience of gay men and how it's like white people first, I'm always just like, you have to say something about the black gay experience because I am still here. I'm here and I'm a part of this thing too. And so when he talks about stuff like that, he's onto something where he's just like, look, in the hierarchy of people giving a shit about stuff, white gays get the most, then below that is black minority gays, then below that is trans people, then below that is black and minority trans people. They're at the very bottom rung, getting the least respect, getting the least protection from the cops, still dying, a bunch of stuff. Why are you say you're not punching down, but like they're literally the people that need the most protection, and you're just being like, look, I just don't,
that's the sleight of hand that he has. It reminds me of Bell Hooks has a book. I think it's, hopefully I'm not fucking up the title, but it's something like all the women are white and all the blacks are men or something, basically to say like when something specifically affects black women, whether it be like misogyny, whether it be racism or the impact of both, people go, I don't understand why you're being so weird right now. It's like, we're at the Black Lives Matter march. What do you care about this thing about you not making enough money? That has nothing to do with anything. And then, white women are like, we're trying to make money. And you're like, and what does it have to do with you being black? What is your hair at the office? Who gives a fuck about that? We're talking about money. And Dave does that with his stand-up, where when he wants to like really go in on queer people, he always goes like, they're just white. They're all white. It's all Caitlyn Jenner. They're all fucked up and kind of racist, and they actually hate black people. And then there's me, poor Dave Chappelle, rich comedian, trying to like just get my opinion out there. And I don't know why they keep bullying me, everybody, but it's really them. And it's been 4 specials. That's all. Like he's heard all the other arguments. That's why, like, even when you said Stonewall, Keith, he's heard every possible thing against his argument. He don't give a fuck.
Right. Right. Yeah, and maybe he thinks of one joke he should have put in there. Like if you said to him, "Hey, this is funny, right? Caitlyn Gender," and he's like, "I got it right in the hour."
Juicy Smollett. I
Right.
got it.
And
I
I didn't know what the special was going to be about. I certainly don't sit down arms folded. I'm watching by
Right.
myself. I know it's going to be edgy. I know I'm going to laugh at inappropriate things. I don't know if I laughed 5 times. I laughed at made up vagina isn't a real vagina. It's like Impossible Burger. You know, it's me, but it's not me. It's like the vagina is vagina, but it's not blood. It's beet juice. But then I also know the difference between him being goddamn ridiculous and him really sitting there just talking to you. There's no jokes. It is an agenda. It's not funny. And he often says, look, I'm just up here. I'm just trying to be funny. Don't take it so serious. That is bullshit. He obviously wants to be looked at, you know, as a preacher of sorts. It's a lot. It reminds me of Joe Rogan, and both these guys are the greatest. But it reminds me of Joe Rogan when he would get, you know, a lot of pushback for saying, you know, don't take the vaccine if you're healthy. And so he goes, hey, what do I know? I'm an idiot. That doesn't mean me, Keith, goes, hey guys, Joe Rogan's a real idiot, and he hears that and goes, I am. Even more credit I got this far. I'm a real idiot. No, he knows he's smart, and of course, Chappelle cares.
As I was watching him, I was thinking like the creative license that he has as a comedian is this thing of like he can go from poet to just fucking like prophet to prose. Like he gets all this credit, like, and he's probably the only comic I can think of right now that can do like 20 minutes where there's no joke.
Right.
Like
did you to your point, did you notice they're so ready to laugh? And you know what? There's nothing you can do as a famous comic.
Right.
They're ready to laugh. And some of the things he was just saying a sentence, but it's leading up to a joke. And after that sentence was serious, and I wish I wrote it down, but it was something like, you know, people kill people there or something like that. And there was no joke. And they were like, ha. And I'm like, oh, you're just ready for the joke that's coming. You're not giving him good feedback.
They laughed one time at him saying the bathroom bill in North Carolina doesn't allow transgender people to use the restroom. And they started laughing. And he was like, oh, no, that's not the joke. That's not like he had to tell the crowd because the crowd was whipped into a frenzy of like, we're going to be transphobic. Yeah. Oh, that's transphobic. We like that. And he's like, no, that's not the joke. The joke
Somebody
is
in the back yelled, yeah. They go, yeah. And he goes, no.
Right. And I'm like that when you have those people backing you and Jason Whitlock and Breitbart.com and Candace Owens are talking about how great your special is. If you don't stop and think about that shit a little bit, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't bother you at all. I feel like if, you know, if the worst person, if Donald Trump was like the Blackout Test, my favorite podcast, I'd be like, oh, what are we doing? What are we?
Right. Right.
Yeah. And I'm at Keith, you put it so well with like the maybe Bobby Flay can't make this one thing because like you said, I did not sit there folded. He is maybe my favorite comic, you know? Sure. And so, and even in that special where he said that stupid trans joke, it was so fucking stupid. I still laughed at the rest of the time. And it was still like, you know what? If 80% of your special is phenomenal, you have a couple blind spots, you're still funny. And, you know, take the pushback because that's where your blind spots are. That wasn't as funny to everybody else. And this was just all blind spots. And you just can't keep forgiving. You're just like, where's the joke? The joke is essentially, like I said before, a poop joke version of a trans joke to lead up to, but I love them. It's come on.
I had to fight through from the moment that I turned it on. I was like, oh God, he looks like the older that he gets, the more that he looks like my dad. So I hate that.
Well, you're fighting against different
same thing. I said, this looks like Newsy's dad.
I had to keep stopping it. But also, like, what was that whole thing about him beating up the woman in the club? Was that something that was necessary for him to address?
Yeah.
What was all of that?
She was a lesbian and he needed to beat the toxic masculinity out of her because
that was the punchline.
It feels a lot like here's a bunch of offensive shit that no one else can do, and I'm Dave Chappelle and I'm gonna do it. And there's a way where I see him as on a comedian level where you're just like, oh, this guy is going and trying to do the triple fucking somersault or whatever they do at the Olympics that they're like, only Simone Biles can do that shit. That's his level of like, I'm so great, I'm only trying to accomplish the impossible. And his impossible is I'm going to make the world laugh at me punching down at these people. And I'm like, it doesn't work for me because the world's already doing that. Like and I'm not saying this on a moral level. It just feels beneath him on a skill level. Anyone at any open mic could be like, chicks with dicks, right? Like the kind of people that are going to laugh at that are just going to laugh at that. They don't need Dave Chappelle to explain to them why they hate trans people or why lesbians are funny. They don't need that. In
an entire pandemic that we've experienced in 17 months, he talked about COVID for three seconds.
Yeah.
And like, I love the joke of like, I'll have what the homeless people are having. Like, I was like, those are moments
Johnson and
like,
Johnson,
okay, I'm getting in on this or whatever. And then he fucking loses me with all this stuff. I'm like, man, there's so many other things that you can talk about. And he did start off the thing by saying, just right off black, I am rich and famous. And that's how he started his stand-up.
What you know what? I think that's branding also, by the way. Tell me if you guys felt this way too. Okay, yeah, he knows now it's a move. He puts his foot on the speaker, the crowd's gonna go nuts. Okay, it's Dice fucking with a cigarette. But then he tells me 5 times he's rich and famous. I know it's not important to the joke 3/4 of the time. He's the one telling us he's the GOAT.
Right.
You are, but can I say it?
Yeah.
Can I tell you are? And I just started watching the beginning of the Kennedy Center honors, and Tiffany Haddish is the first and only person I saw so far, but she calls him the GOAT, and I promise you he made her do that. He's always saying how great when he tells that story about the transgender woman that dies. That's just so he can say that he's giving her money giving the daughter money when she becomes 21. It's to say he's a hero. There's nothing else to that.
Yeah. How can I be hateful when this is this person like me? And shouldn't they feel the same way? I found the one person that doesn't feel this way. And it's so weird too, because if you let all transgender people open for you when you're on the road, you'll probably make some inroads into the community. I mean, that's kind of how that works. But you helped one person was like, oh, worship me, trans people.
Right.
You killed her with your tweets.
Right.
That was some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that was very heartbreaking, of course. And it was, and I even think, and maybe I'm remembering this wrong, and I don't want to keep piling on, like Keith guaranteeing you that he made Tiffany Haddish say that. I almost want to strike that from the record, because everything else that we said has the receipts. So I don't know about that. So
you don't have to know about that, but I do know that he's on his specials lately, and he has to mention he's the GOAT. He mentions it. He had to read the dead woman's tweet when she was alive. She said, stop giving Chappelle a hard time. He's a master of his craft. He is the GOAT. He just had to read that so we got the whole story. It wasn't really about him. No, he's telling you. He's like, did Jordan do that? Does Brady do that? Maybe I don't pay attention to sports enough. I don't think so.
I think it's also, and this, I started seeing this like the second special in. It's just not a special for everybody anymore. It's a fight between him and the internet. It's like we're just observing this fight because half of the shit is taking place outside the room. He goes, Twitter's not a real place, but guess where the fuck you're gonna be obsessed right now? I don't think Dave Chappelle's somewhere living a happy life right now. He's looking at his phone or reading some stupid ass review about how they hate him. Like that, he's now in this cycle. And I didn't used to think he would be like that, but the guy who quit because someone laughed too hard at his costume on the set of his show doesn't understand sensitivity and empathy and all this shit anymore. Like, dude, we get it. You're rich now and you don't have to give a fuck. I think a lot of people's idea of power is kind of to get to the point where white men are like, listen, as a white man, I got the money. I can do whatever I want to other people. I say what I want to, and I expect to continue to win and be on top. And for some people, even a guy like Dave Chappelle, who's very on point when it comes to racial issues, his idea of power is like, I just want to get to the point where I can do what Joe Rogan does, or, other people before me have done, where they're offensive and crude and no one can do anything about it.
He unironically told the story about the slave who became a slave master and didn't even realize he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep.
Oh.
You're right. I hate storytellers that tell half a story. I hate that I don't understand how he left the Chappelle show.
Yeah.
But he brought it up again. He's like, well, you can be on the bus and be a civil rights mover and shaker, but eventually you have to get out and march. which I did, and walked away from $50 million. The end. So I'm reminded he's the GOAT, and I still don't know the fucking story that somebody.
Didn't he explain that
I'm guessing
on 8?
He never fucking. He never on what?
846.
Nah, that's all about George Floyd.
No,
he did have one where he
explain
talked about Comedy Central taking his money or something.
Yes, yeah.
That wasn't like really that was like no stand up in that, which is this nigga just need a podcast. Like, come on, brother. These aren't jokes anymore. You didn't bother to write jokes. But yeah, is even
supposedly a white guy laughed too hard at a black sketch and he went, I can't do this anymore. Well, that makes no fucking sense to me. Right. And there's got to be more. And
and then every time someone
I'll never know.
Every time someone around him, like Neil Brennan or somebody, kind of talks about it or brings up shit, it always ends up with that vague, like, and then he went to South Africa and he'll be like, you think I went to South Africa for real just to get my mind right? Does that even make sense? See, they would do that to a black man. You're like, well, what is the truth, Dave?
Yeah, right.
You did quit the show. We do know. I saw the horrible season 3. It was
also
you quit.
You could have.
Shot extra fired. Okay.
Well, y'all, I bought the DVD. I reserved the right to say that was a shitty third season. He didn't try.
How about though? You're the creator or whatever of this show. You call a meeting and you're just saying like, "Hey, staff, everybody involved. I just want to remind everybody that this is what we're here for." And like that, at the end of the day, people still blah, 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 whatever. He could have done something in that interim to solve that problem if that's all it was. If that's all it was, is that like somebody on the set was like laughing a little bit too hard.
But can we just I feel like we should set that aside because that just could have been a mental break. He could have been too young, too fast, too soon with all this stuff.
Then say that.
But that's fine. But we don't need to yell at people to tell us about their mental breaks. We get it.
He's telling us half of it. He's telling us half of us that don't tell it.
The focus, though, you know what I mean? I think at this point, it just sounds like piling on.
No, I don't think he's gonna tell me the story or don't. In this special, he told me half the fucking story again.
Right. Yeah. And also, like, I don't think he's gonna listen to this episode. You know, I told him not to. So Dave, if you're listening,
I don't know.
We
promote on Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, Dave, this is your fault. Okay. Right. You've been out here on Twitter fighting these people. I expect to be mentioned in your next special. And it's a silent E in Roderick. Okay. But I think he made this shit fair game. Like, you're the one telling us that the reason you can be this way to trans people is because you had a breakdown and walked away from your job. Like, okay, well, what was that about then? Like, you know, there's another story where he likes telling about how he wouldn't wear a dress on the set of a movie for this gag. And it's like, okay, well, you brought that up. Can I say that seems relevant to maybe some of your transphobic shit? Nah, that here y'all go. Liberals looking too deep into what I'm saying.
Meanwhile, like, I get that his show was a comedy show, but like there was no positive portrayal of black gay men on there. Friday night sissy fights, fucking doing a lawnmower and like leather kind of shit or whatever. Like, I don't know. He's never been in a place where he's trying to like protect anybody else except for his own interests. That's
the one place where I think his argument about, well, I've been consistent is right. Where, yeah, you're right. You have never tried to be shit. Like, for anybody other than just like Dave Chappelle, black man. That is your TM, that is your brand, and everybody else can suck your dick. And I think a lot of people were disappointed because he had so much credit for being avant-garde, you know, like it was like, oh my God, he's cutting edge. This guy, he thinks about things differently. And so you leave for 10 years, 15 years and come back. People are thinking, what have you seen and what has changed you and how have you changed? And he was like, no, I'm still, if anything, I'm worse. Like I'm mad that y'all give a fuck about these things that I don't, and I never will.
Yeah. And by the way, this show right now that we're doing, I'm not trying to cancel him. I'll be out there. I'm seeing Hellraiser 11. Okay. Stop being a fucking baby.
Yeah. Cancel for him just means criticize. Like it's not even like no one's trying to do it. No one did anything to Kevin Hart. Like even when there was like, y'all took work from this man, and if you take work from him, he might as well not live. I'm like, didn't Kevin Hart quit because he was like, I refuse to apologize for this shit? And then he's the one who did the video in his bed with no shirt on, talking about I'm not gonna do the show. Like, you didn't have to quit. Everybody was like, well, we'll work this out. Everyone loves Kevin. that's not an example of someone having something really taken away. Once again, criticism to him is you took it away from me.
And then like the person he's championing in this special is DaBaby.
Oh my God.
Because we're taking money away from this fucking dude who is just like, shout out to the people who don't have AIDS and all these diseases that'll get you killed in days and stuff. I'm like, what?
Right.
When do you ever need that as part of your fucking like shout out on the show on
What
on
was
stage?
this DaBaby thing?
That's what it was.
He's a rapper.
Uh-huh.
He you know how you go to a show and every show they do something a little different. Kanye did this a long time ago, like hey, you know, if you paid all your taxes or whatever, fuck, throw your hands up or something. You know, that shit they do is if you from Detroit but you hate Michigan, you know. And his shit for that show was, if you not dirty sucking dicks in the parking lot, because we ain't with that gay shit, and if you ain't got AIDS, then you know, like get motherfucking put your hands up and shit. And
shit.
Yeah, and his people was co-signing him on their mics, being like no homo and all this type of shit. So it was not any level of like confusion as to like maybe he just meant anyone who had HIV. He was literally talking about gay people. And yeah, so he ended up losing a shit ton of concert, like rolling, everything canceled him. Like, but you know, he wouldn't apologize. He doubled down on social media. And
that's
then
fine. Live your truth. But I think he canceled himself by going like, hey, whoever is sucking dick and or has AIDS, and they were like, oh, we don't buy tickets to your concert. Bye.
Yeah, and once what was wild is that once he lost all this shit in a row, because he was just like, y'all need to chill out. He made a video like a rap video, and was putting like,
he was saying like, the stuff that I say at my concerts is for my fans, and if you're not at the concert, then you're not entitled to like the things that I say, and it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, you don't matter.
Right.
What?
Hey, so Keith, why'd you sneak into the KK meeting if it offended you so much?
Whoa. We got to bring up that shit. That's just for my fans at the concert. Okay.
Right. And by the way, when Chemda says, you know, just, you know, you're canceling them? No, you're just leaving the concert. Well, when you leave the concert, kind of run to your car, because if they cut you holding hands with another man, there might be trouble.
Right. And so he ends up losing all those venues, and then he issued a statement apology that, you know, is that kind of apology where you know he ain't have nothing to do with it. You know, I'm talking about like, because when he was talking before and he was doubling down, it was all like, man, go ahead with all that gay shit, because we not even trying to get on that. But then when it was the apology, it was like, the statements that I made earlier were irreprehensible and unconscionable. DaBaby Inc. does not stand for any of this. And you're just like, get the fuck out of here, man.
And then even more, like, it's not the most important thing in the world. But then he continued. He was just like, look, I have gay fans. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the dirty ones and the gross ones who are out there with diseases. And I'm just like, what do you?
My gay fans suck dick with condoms, okay? They're very responsible gays.
I'm talking about Lil Wayne queers.
Yeah, I don't hate them. I don't hate those gays at all. I love these gays. One of my best friends is a gay.
And this is the person that Dave Chappelle is just like, leave Britney Spears alone. Leave DaBaby alone.
Yeah, don't abort DaBaby was like a line that made me laugh. But I was like, man, he went a long way for that line.
Wow.
What was the line? What was the punchline?
He goes, please don't abort DaBaby.
Yeah.
At the end. And I'm like,
that was a long way to go.
You went a long way for that one. Like, he brought up DaBaby like 20 minutes in, and that punchline's at like an hour and 9 minutes. I'm like, woo, boy, you got a lot of credit in this. You got a lot of faith in this audience.
Is he really going to be able to take a break, or is there going to be another transgender special, the encore?
No,
all right, you demanded it.
I think at this point, it is done, because everything that's going to come at him is like, you know what? No matter what I do, people don't understand. I said what I needed to say. I dropped the mic. I'm out of here. Also, it takes a minute to accumulate more jokes. So of course it's going to be a minute.
Also, he wasn't smoking during this one, so he was edgy. We've all been on edge, right?
I wouldn't even put it past him to do more stuff, because he's between these specials, he's had these like Instagram only kind of stand-ups where it's like black and white 15 minutes of Dave just talking about some bullshit. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops something like that's not affiliated with anybody, but it's just him still commenting and teasing the community, because I don't think he's really done with these jokes, because none of the responses changed. His opinion hasn't changed, and and the thing is, we're 4 stand-ups in. Why would I believe he's now done? Like I'll believe it's done when I look up and go, fuck, it's been 5 years. Dave hasn't done any stand-up or talked about gay people. I guess I was wrong.
I think you're right. I think it's time for a podcast, and maybe it is leading to that so that he could just talk.
Yeah. I would have been very embarrassed if I was his friend and I was in those closing credits. Cause like I might be your friend, but I don't co-sign that shit you just did. I didn't know you were about to do an hour against transgender people. Yeah, and that's all you would talk about.
And then John Stewart is there with 2 thumbs up.
Right. Picture. Look, it's me and Mos Def. It's like, oh no.
Like, motherfucker, that was those DC awards. That's why we were there. I wasn't there because of this.
Right. You didn't talk about any of this in DC.
Right. The over-under on Mike smacks to his thigh was 25. And, you won big if you picked over.
He is the GOAT. He puts up big numbers.
I like you letting me know when I should laugh.
Yeah.
To that audience, it was everything, no matter what. Every statement. If there was a period, they were laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a hot audience coming out the pandemic too. So they just wanted to laugh. And I don't know. It made me feel so bad looking at the crowd of just mostly Black people laughing at these anti-trans jokes. I'm just like, no, just stay on, Dave. Let's not cut to the audience at all.
That sucks that now all these people are equipped with what they think is now like a really distilled down thought about being trans, and like, look, these are my talking points. This is what I don't agree with, and this is why I don't care about this. And those talking points that he was mad about, once again, he's mad about people coming back to him with these talking points. You've just supplied other people with shit talking points that they're going to go take to other people, and this is like your legacy.
Right.
And
this is like what? I'm sorry, what was the very end? This is
legacy.
And it's super disappointing too, because like I know Black people who are still mad at like Sarah Silverman for doing blackface one time. Like, but then they'll defend Dave Chappelle now. Like they're like, if you can't take a joke, I was like, what, you didn't like that. Remember when you couldn't, like when it was your group, this was not funny to you, but now it's another group and it is.
It's not if you can't take a joke. If you can't give me a joke, I have nothing to take.
Yeah.
It's not
the whole anti the thing about, man, I was excited when he started talking about Black and Asian people and stuff like that. I'm like, say that, you know, like it is disheartening to see Black people going around beating up Asian people or whatever. And then like a half COVID joke, and then that's it. Another thing that he could have been so much more poignant with, so much more like that. The things that he could have talked about would have actually had. Where did it go? It went to like COVID. There's an Asian and Black people fighting inside me, or something like that. Might I remind you, his kids are half Asian, so been a little time there. Maybe if these things are important, I don't know.
But also, that was a terrible punchline. That was just exactly what the worst thing you could say. What the fuck? You're calling it the China virus,
right? And then the other thing too is I really think the people who go, well, he's just joking on everybody. Okay, he's irreverent, everyone gets it. I'm like, this motherfucker did no jokes for that 846 thing about George Floyd. There's no jokes. The whole thing is him being upset at what is happening specifically to Black men, because he didn't include any Black women, but specifically Black men who are being killed by the police. He's not making everything funny. It's not all a joke to him. There is some shit that he's like, this is so serious. I'm using my platform to advocate for the lives of these people, but not this trans shit. I don't give a fuck about.
That's what I'm saying. Joe Rogan's smart enough, and this guy knows he wants to be taken seriously when he wants to be taken seriously. Don't trick me that it's all jokes.
Other than that,
you'd be mad if we took it that way. Did you see my 846? Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah, take that out. It's a great special. You know, I'd say like of an hour and 10 minutes, probably like hour 7 minutes you take out, shit was flames.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to learn that he can play piano through a picture. Yeah. that really is the goal.
Empathy.
I didn't
it's
like
really just an ad for those speakers. I mean, speakers you can put your whole foot on. Come on, man.
I was thinking like, I wonder if George Carlin ever played trumpet. You know, I don't know. Right. I don't know. But Dave Chappelle can play piano. I know that.
It's funny that the leg on the speaker is a thing, because I feel like that's driving the sound people crazy. Because if I used to, because as a singer, you want to do that, and you kind of do end up doing that, and you lean into the crowd and stuff like that. But your mic gets next to the speaker and it feeds back the sound people have to be really on top of that. Now, of course, he's getting the best sound and the best everything, but like that's not the greatest move sound.
How many not Dave Chappelle's are gonna do that? That's what I keep thinking. Like when I hear the beat knock on the knee with the mic, I'm like, oh man, I know fucking sound guys at every club are just like, come on, man, come on.
People are fidgeting with their clothes, just
agitating.
Yeah.
I need give me a suit with at least one button. I gotta pick at something.
Right.
Give that guy a fucking cigarette, Jesus. It'd be funny. He lights one up halfway through and goes, "Wait a minute, what the fuck am I saying?"
I honestly think if he was the greatest comedian of all time, it would be funny if he just did like a special the complete opposite. Like no one even knew, but it was just like extremely like pro equality and inclusion and shit. The whole audience is like, what the fuck is this the whole time? If he can make that funny, then okay, you're the GOAT. You know what I mean? Like, because this shit, you just been doing this 4 specials in a row, depending on people to be transphobic. That's not hard, but do the opposite.
Even Dice did it. Dice did an album called 42 Long, and it's anti-men. All the jokes are against men because he was, being told it's all against women. So yes, you could do a completely opposite album and it'd still be smart.
Then I'd be impressed. I'd be like, wow, this must, because then I would believe, oh, he don't give a fuck. Apparently, this is just jokes to him. These are not his beliefs. It's 4 albums in, brother. This is you.
Right. The only thing on there that was just jokes, I think, was the thing about like him sucking off the priest or something, or getting sucked off by the priest, which I was just like, wait, are we receiving a moment right now, or is this just jokes? Because like, what the fuck was that about?
He brought up that he sucked off his priest. Don't worry about it. He liked it. I loved coming on that guy's face, which that is funny. But then it was like, wait, did you suck off your priest? Like.
Yeah, there was quite a few things I thought were just silly and funny, things like that, but you can never tell.
Right. All right. Well, let me mention this. Now's a good time. BetterHelp. By the way, my therapist, I think she's in love with me. I'm a very good client, very entertaining.
Wow.
I just want you all to know that if you're not watching this on YouTube, everyone's side-faced. Everyone just went like look at your puppy and like when your puppy doesn't understand, they go. That's what we just all did.
She called me the GOAT. In 2021, mental health is finally a thing. So many people are struggling right now. They're not feeling like their normal selves. Therapy helps. It doesn't have to be. It's whatever you want it to be. That's the point. It's whatever you want it to be. I loved it. I'd never done it before. I pace when I talk, so I think I built up 10 miles in my steps. But they have to listen to you. You get your point across. Say I'm discussing a fight with somebody. I'm like, and then how could they think this or that? And they have to listen. Even friends try to add a point. They listen.
Does your therapist, Keith, like mine does? Like he listens, but he gives me eyes. Like he'll give me eyes of like, you're saying bullshit, right? And I'm like, yeah, right. I know.
Right. But he lets you finish and then tells you what's doing. You could do what I did too, right? Hey, I want a therapist that gives me these little, quips and phrases that I can keep in my pocket. That's the kind of therapist I like. And then you type in whatever you like and they find one for you. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Keith and the Girl listeners get 10% off their first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/KATG. That's BetterHelp.com/KATG. These
do it.
2 things that are changing my life for the better already. BetterHelp and Manscaped, that I can trim my balls nice. 2 things. Newsy's just you use
banning
this.
himself.
Newsy's just like, oh, it's wonderful. I am so. I can't ask my lady to be clean. Then I come in here like a jungle. But I don't want the nicks and scratches and all this. That's where this comes in. Manscaped, the performance package 4.0. and includes the new lawnmower 4.0. That's how disgusting you men are. It's called a lawnmower. Come on, wake up, get a clue. Don't Chappelle your life. Listen to what they're saying. If you're looking to cozy up this fall, this trimmer is essential. Of course it is. It's the 4th generation trimmer. I hope their family's very proud. Cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to blah, blah, blah technology. What are you, a scientist? Who gives a fuck? It's good. It also gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight. I pretend my balls are at a show. And it's waterproof. You can use it right in the shower, you know.
I like to pretend it's like I'm summoning Batman to come and take care of the job.
No joke. It says it includes the weed whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and ear. You guys are disgusting.
You got to trim down there. Nobody wants to go down there.
Yeah.
It's not trimmed up.
Here's what you do. Take a look. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code KATG at manscaped with the D.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code KATG at manscaped.com. Make your balls a priority this fall.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said.
Yeah, choose Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
It's the fall. Leaves are falling off. You know, it's time to let go of things.
It's the fall. Tend to your balls.
Yeah, there were a lot of fall puns. I skipped it. I don't know who's very proud of themselves in this ad, but I am a fan. That's the point. All right.
Also, thank you to the people who sponsor this show. We have keithandthegirl.com/coupons. So if you missed that, please go over there and support our supporters. And you always get a discount.
That's right. That's right. Newsy was just showing Blue Chew. Throw in KATG somewhere there. Stay hard. You know, you got your balls out of the way. You know, you might as well add an extra.
Now you can use that robo penis.
Yeah. It's all there. keithandthegirl.com/coupons. You'll see what we got for you. All right. Newsy, thank you so much for your time. It's good seeing you again. Is there anything you'd like the listeners to know about you, about your life?
Keep being nice to the people in your lives and sign up for KTG VIP program and listen to my show because I actually have fun doing it. I say actually, like, of course I do have fun, but it's just the anxiety that gets built up before the shows. I'm just like, fuck, am I going to be able to pull it off this time? Yes.
It's such a good show. Newsy takes us back from the beginning in 2005 on a specific date. Throughout the years, it's fun to hear how to hear language changes, you know, what's important to us in general, this kind of thing. And I'm very proud of it. So thank you.
And you get to hear like the people, the ghosts from the past and the McNallys come up and all that stuff. And even don't let him to fool you here beyond the paywall. She loves to go in behind it. Okay.
He goes
some of these shows, you never know. It's like fucking bingo. You just the Newsy will just be like, and this guest, and she's like, oh, let me tell you about this motherfucker. And I'm just like, oh shit. So definitely want to get behind that paywall.
It does feel extra good when Chemda, like sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, it like the way when I bring up my dad to my divorced mom, she's like, this motherfucker. I'm like, great, I started that on the show. I'll do that sometimes. And I'm just like, ooh, look where I just landed us. Like, ooh, it feels
him
so
to just sat here this whole time feeling kind of like a little bad for Dave Chappelle. You know, like, so imagine the kind of person she's just like, oh, not this motherfucker. Both barrels.
Yeah. I don't know if Tiffany was really told to say the go. Okay.
let's just stick to facts. You and your 100% guarantees. It's not a thing.
I bet I happen to be correct. That's all. Rod Morrow, of course, he hosts.
Wait, may I? Rod Morrow, we love you. Rod Morrow, you're always 2 weeks away.
Aww.
Thank you.
He hosts our show last week on Keith and the Girl, and then the following week, Karen does it, that kind of thing. It's fantastic. You're both fantastic. And download the podcast that he hosts, The Black Guy Who Tips.
Yep.
And you'll enjoy that as well. Very funny. Sometimes they could get political, of course, but you're always
very like offensively political. Like the other way. Like, you know, like if you're like kind of in the middle, you probably don't want to listen to our show. We're all the way on the left.
But you'll laugh, and that's the point.
Yeah. Then you laugh about it. We're still funny.
Yeah. Both of you, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I said
Okay.
thank you, Rod.
This made my Friday. Okay. I said I got called up to the big leagues.
Big show.
And you know, the love that Karen has in her booty for me, when I look at it and she looks at me,
yes,
it's amazing.
It
And
makes
I was
people
just so
cry,
thankful.
apparently. Yeah.
It's an onion. That's why they call it that. You know?
Don't try to steal her cat
So
gut.
this is the
She
nice
said
cat
it.
She is the best person in the world. I would die for her. And all the nice, beautiful things. So nominate me for a cat as well. All right.
All right. Well, Newsy's got to go to work. Rod's got to go bang that out. So
Yeah.
we'll talk to you soon. Don't
Shout out
forget
to
all
Blue
the
Chew.
bonus stuff at Keith and the Girl. Shout out to Blue Chew. KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. A lot of fun stuff. Thanks a lot.
KeithAndTheGirl.com